everyone! I hope you're having a great day so far. This video is intended for anybody following along in my 8-week program, or maybe you picked up my book on Amazon and you're just following along with that, and so you wanted to watch the videos that correspond with the different workouts and yoga routines in that book. Or maybe you just found this and you're trying to do your own alignment work and chakra work, and you just thought that you could use it to help your own personal growth. Because yoga is about so much more than just the different types of yoga, be it Ashtanga, Yin, Yang, Flow, Hatha. Yoga can also be redesigned and structured into poses that help open up specific chakras, because they are incorporating the different body parts that are in that chakra. Root yoga is really heavily focused on legs and foldovers and standing poses. And if you're just finding my page or my channel, you're just following along, I'm Jordan, and I help people expand themselves and get in touch with a sense of whole holistic wellness through diet, exercise, Reiki, chakras, and mindfulness. And I try to bring that all together and make it practical. So if you're ready and you have a mat, no props are needed for this. So if you're ready and you have a mat and you're seated, we'll begin. Start by just coming into easy cross-legged pose. Begin to regulate your breathing. Thinking about it like your breath is coming from the back of your throat. Try making that noise in the back of your throat, or just thinking about it like you're fogging up a glass, like, but with your mouth closed. We call this breath with intention, or prana breath, because it really activates the energy in the body and it gets us connected with our breath. Stay in easy pose for a minute and just let yourself forget about everything that was going on before this yoga series, or what you have to do after. For a minute, just be. Imagine you're a rock sitting on the mat, just being, grounding, letting go, and being ready for this series. If it helps, as you come into the rest of the poses in this series, really activate your root. Imagine yourself glowing with red, bright light, really coming into that red root energy. Now, come on to all fours as you get ready to come into child's pose. Put your knees hips distance apart or just a little wider. Sink down onto your bum. letting your tailbone sink down into the pose till you come down to rest your forehead on the mat. I'm going to be here for a minute, but you can feel free to pause me and sit for longer if you need. Bring your hands back and push them up to push your body up out of child's pose. You can sit back for 10 seconds just to reset and give your hips a break from that. Now come back up onto all fours, pushing up onto your toes, onto your feet. Come into garland pose with your feet flat, holding, pushing your weight down onto your heels, keeping your back straight, tailbone down. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. Progress is about progress, not necessarily perfection. Yoga is about being in the present moment and being in the position you're in your journey of progress, not striving for perfection. Just let your body be where it is. Slowly come out of garland. Stand and take a couple deep breaths so you don't get lightheaded from coming out of garland. Now prepare to come into forward bend. Your feet shoulder distance or hip distance apart. Take a deep breath and fold down. Just partially at first, and slide up, halfway up your shins. Take a deep breath and release as you come down into full fold. Let your spine come up one vertebrae at a time, not rushing. When you're into standing, find your center on one leg, shift your weight into that leg, flexing your foot, pushing your weight into your heel and all your toes spread. And bring your leg up, tucked either onto your calf or your thigh, but never your knee. It's important not to put your leg onto your knee when you're in tree pose, or it'll stress the knee joint. I'll say that again. You can have your foot on your shin and your calf or your upper thigh when you're in tree pose, but never the knee joint, or it'll stress the joint. You're not strengthening with dual actions that way. Just remember to breathe, flex the foot, putting your weight and your energy down into your foot, thinking of your leg as the roots of your tree, grounding root coming down through your foot into the ground. Letting your foot push against your leg as your leg pushes back into it. We're creating a dual action with our foot and our leg. This shouldn't be too hard to balance once you find your footing, as this is creating a dual action that acts as a stabilizer and keeps the leg straight. Now we come on to our other leg. I'm going to just put my foot on my shin because I have a little bit less stability on my left ankle, my left foot. So I'm trying not to stress that too much, and that's okay. It's important to just be aware of our weak points, how we can modify poses and do the easier or slightly modified version if that's what our body needs. Now bring the foot down and just reset yourself into mountain pose. Head back, chin in, straight spine. Remember to stay in this present moment. This present moment of being and doing just what you're doing right now. You don't need to think about the rest of your day after and all the things that you have to do, because sometimes it's about being just a human being, not a human doing that's focused on everything we have to do. Coming into our last pose for Warrior 2, bring your left foot forwards to the front of your mat and your right foot backwards, lining up your heels with each other and squaring your hips forward. Bring the back arm to the back and the front arm parallels with it. Make sure your knee is stacked over your ankle so it makes a straight line, and that way you're coming onto your front leg with bone strength, not muscle strength, and it's not too strenuous or too hard on you. 5 more breaths. Come out of that and back onto the other side. Making sure your hips are in, your heels are in line with each other. Swing that back arm back and the right arm forward, and just sink down onto your front knee, making sure that it's stacked and in line with your ankle. Chest up, breathe into that warrior. I'm grounded and I'm prepared for whatever's to come. Five more breaths. Now, come out of that warrior. And we'll finish lying down on Savasana with a short few minutes of calming, meditative thought. If you would like a short visualization while you're in Shavasana or corpse pose, think of yourself as a tree standing tall, just sitting, blowing in the wind, or just a blade of grass. Not focused on one thing or another. Just being. Reflecting on this series. Reflecting on how your body feels in the current moment after moving and activating the root. Just thinking about being grounded, lying still, not focused focusing on one thing or another too much. You can pause if you need. If you need to be here, stay here as long as you need to. We're gonna come up, out of resting pose, out of Shavasana, back into seated cross-legged position. Just be grateful for this little 20 minutes that you gave yourself. Thanks for following along and watching. If you liked this series, throw a comment down in the comment section. Like or subscribe this if you haven't already. And I'm going to be leaving the info for anybody who's interested in following along with the series, doing their own work. I'm going to be leaving the link for my book that's on Amazon down in the description, as well as my page for my Instagram and my Facebook, so you can follow me on there too. Thanks, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Love y'all. Peace. Love. Namaste. Bye now.